Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. Today, we have the driving force of the iconic show Dance Mom, which discovered so many talents, but she is also the founder of the worldwide Abby Lee Dance Company. Her podcast is called Leave It on the Dance Floor, and if you want her back on your screens, you are in luck. Today, we are celebrating the release of the second season of Madhouse, which you can find exclusively on Brandon TV. And this is a reality show, guys. It's like she invites these young adult dancers to live with her and compete for a spot on her team. Today, we have the legend, Abby Lee Miller. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched you for so long. I mean, you really are this iconic figure in reality TV, and yet that was never your plan. I mean, in 1980, I believe you started with teaching, and I'm like, you could have never planned that reality TV would be a part of your story.
Never, 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 never. I dedicated my life to making other people's children successful and famous and winners. That started in 1980, then 83. I graduated from high school. I took over my mom's incredible business at 22. I built my own building, and I was driving kids back and forth to New York City for auditions once a month. Their parents weren't going to take them. Oh, our car won't make it. We can't afford it. I can't take off work, blah, blah, blah. I drove. I took my car. I took off work. I hired a substitute to teach for me, and I took their kids. And I'm proud to say that I've had kids in 27 Broadway shows.
Yeah, you had, I think I was listening to something that you were talking about, one of the first ones, he was in Footloose or something like that. And I just thought those got to be the best moments as a teacher when you see somebody that you have helped or taught succeed.
Yeah, taught, I took to eat, drove home from all the events. If you had $1 for every time you watched their solo, you could retire. Those kids, that was my heart. Those children were like, I raised them. I believed in their talent more than their own families did. And that was partly sad, and then partly gave me the power, and I took those kids. That young man right now is the associate director and choreographer of Death Becomes Her, the big hit.
Oh, the Broadway show. Like, that is like I want to see that. It's supposed to be amazing. That's incredible.
It is. His name is Mark Myers.
Well, so you get on TV then, and you kind of become this reality star. And not only do you have to deal with the kids, but obviously the moms, and that is a very difficult thing to do. But then on Madhouse, you are just dealing with these, I guess, not kids, these are, I guess, young adults, but you don't really have to deal with the moms. Is that preferential?
Yes. Thank you. I could have done Dance Moms 10 years before we did it. And 5 years before that, like, I had a small group of dancers and a small group of moms that were nuts, absolutely off their rockers, and the jealousy and the cattiness and the chaos, but the big difference was those moms didn't travel with me. I took the kids, three girls across one bed, horizontal, three girls on the other bed, me on a rollaway. Then we'd hide another rollaway in the bathroom, and then we'd say we didn't get the rollaway. It's just a whole thing. So now all of a sudden I'm on a TV show and the mothers are in the picture, and it's not the way it should be. And then now we've graduated to Madhouse, where there's no more moms. These kids have to stand up to me themselves.
And you guys, I was watching because they have a reunion for the first season, and I beforehand in the intro, I'm going to tell you how to go to Brandon TV and all of that stuff, because you can watch it you can just watch it at any time. But what I found fascinating was there was this reunion, and it was like you were Andy Cohen on Bravo, and you really, in classic Abby Lee Miller fashion, is that you don't pull your punches. You're saying, "Oh, crunchy granola girl." I've never worked with a dancer with tattoos. You are really giving it straight, and I think that is probably why people love you over the years, because you don't pull your punches. Is that something that you're like, I will never change the way I am to?
No, they want to be dancers, the more marks on your body, the less opportunities you're going to have in the industry. I mean, some choreographers don't care about that. Some jobs, it doesn't matter. But, Disney, you can't even have more than one hole in your ear. So, and Disney is the way to get an equity card. It's an equity job.
Yeah.
It's a union job. So these kids talk about healthcare and this and that, and then they don't go about it the right way. They're not navigating it. And why, dang it, are their dance teachers not guiding them correctly? That's what I don't get.
So are you one of those people that can like see a dancer or see their work and immediately go, I know how to help you. I know exactly who you are. I know what I can do for you. I mean, is that the gift that you possess?
I feel that I possess that gift, but I can also tell them exactly what not to do. They're going about it the wrong way.
But they're
And
kids and they're young adults and they're all, I mean, young adults are dumb as hell. They're going to like screw. I mean, like, how do you deal with people that are
my
not
young adults
emotionally?
didn't do that.
That's
My
true.
young adults are multimillionaires. What are you talking
That,
about?
but yeah, shout out JoJo. I mean, like, you're right. You're very right. And by the way, that comes from what you think you instilled in them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be ready. It's a very short window of time to be a professional dancer, unless you're going to go that choreography, director, producer avenue. And then you work into your 50s and 60s, of course. But if you're just a dancer, and I say just a dancer, honey, you better do it between 18 and 30 or you're done.
What inspires you? I mean, does it inspire you to watch young talent?
Yes,
Is that like something that just continue? And do you think you have a lot of young talent on Madhouse? Because I was watching season one, season two. Is it strong talent in your opinion?
stronger.
Stronger.
I wouldn't use the word strong yet. Maybe season three. Maybe season three. I would say stronger. It's stronger. There's one young lady that was on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. Uh, and I feel like she's following the right path, that she's going about things correctly. There's another girl that's returning from last season. She's just gorgeous. She's stunning. She walks into the room. What I'm trying to teach her, because I've had stunning, gorgeous girls from Pittsburgh, you can't rely on being just another pretty face. You have to have the
Yeah.
talent to back it up. Yeah.
Um, being a reality, I mean, you are a reality TV star. Does that help your overall mission to teach, or has that hurt it at times? Because you now have this fame where people are curious about you, and you're trying to put the attention on what you're trying to teach these people.
Well, yes. And when we talked about that earlier at the beginning of the interview, uh, you know, they had interviewed some of my kids when the TV show first started. And one young lady who was a favorite, really a favorite, Katie, she said, Abby is doing what she trained all of us to do. Like, she is in the spotlight, and she trained us to be in the
Yeah.
spotlight. I drilled them on their interview skills. I mean, we would sit around in the den and I would fire questions at the kids. How to sit, how to stand, how to walk into the room, all of those things. And suddenly I'm on a red carpet being interviewed. And I just knew how to do it from working with
Yeah.
them back and forth. So it was me, like, just totally plunged into the limelight. And all of a sudden I'm on the side of a bus in New York City with the worst picture possible. And I'm like, this is no Photoshop yet? Like, can't you fix that? And yeah, so I think sometimes the kids look at me like I'm on TV. They
Yeah.
they look at me in the madhouse. I can see that they're looking at me as somebody they grew up with watching on television, instead of the dance teacher that's right here telling them, look, this is what you need to do. This is
This
what
is
I.
real. Like, I am here to teach a real skill. This is because I would imagine you just have people coming to you now of like, make me a star. What if just make me a star? Make me a star.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Exactly. There's got to be so much work. I mean, we see how much work goes into this, and that's what it is. It's all about like dedication and just putting those hours in. So I think it's like about also, by the way, I would be scared. I mean, I'm in fear of you ever yelling at me or critiquing me. Like, I mean, you could put the fear of God in me. I've seen some of how you handle this. You know, it really does teach you to have tough skin, I imagine, which is really good for their careers.
It is. You have to have tough skin in this business. I mean, I just want when my student is standing there among 20 others and the director, the choreographer, the producer, they're kind of really too nice now, but whatever. Take you back to like Bob Fosse and Michael Bennett, those guys, right? And they just start to crucify you. You're just going to stand there and smile and take it, take it, take it, where the people around you are going to crumble.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I
God,
expect from my dancers.
I grew up loving that musical, the chorus line, and just to talk about like, but just you brought up Bob Fosse and things like that, and I was just wondering who were your inspirations growing up, as a young student yourself and working with your mom, who were the dancers or the dance teachers that you were like, oh my God, this is blowing me away.
Well, Jerome Robbins and Michael Bennett, of course. Bob Fosse, quick story. They're going to cut me off. My mother had her studios in Miami, Florida for 20 some years. After World War II in 1945, she started at 18 years old. And she had boys that danced and her girls. They danced at the Fontainebleau on Miami Beach with Sammy Davis Jr. and the Rat Pack and Elvis Presley. Like when the band took a break, my
Yeah.
mother's dancers performed. So one of her students, many of them moved to New York City and they were on Broadway, tons of them. My one, Albert Stevenson, he ended up, he's married now to John Kander of Kander and Ebb, who wrote Chicago,
Legends.
Cabaret, Sweet Charity, all of those shows. So here I am, 7, 8, 9 years old, sitting in a house seat at every Broadway show and meeting everyone afterwards, meeting Chita Rivera, meeting Liza Minnelli, And so that's the world that I got to grow up in. And then my other normal, snow up to your hips, school's canceled, let's sled ride in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I mean, you talk about all these legends and growing up with this kind of knowledge and access, and it was a different time. And I was wondering how different of a time is it now? Like the kids in Madhouse, do they know? Do they have an appreciation for the Fosses and the Robins? Like, do they study their history?
No, no, no. And it's scary. And I give them steps. Let's do an eccentric bell. Let's do cabriole. Let's do a ballet. And they don't know what I'm talking about. And I say, but what if you audition for Annie Get Your Gun, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Oklahoma? You're not going to know any of the steps that they're doing.
Yeah.
You need to know all the cowboy steps, all the nautical South Pacific in the Navy, all those steps. You need to know all this. There's just such a vast world of steps and you don't know what you're doing. You want to do contemporary and roll around on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, is that why? What is it your preference to teach kids actually because you can get in there so much earlier and
Yes.
kind of instill that where sometimes the people in Madhouse might have developed such bad habits that it is so hard to break them from those.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, what is it like for you to be back on the screens? Madhouse season one, which I was like, I'm so happy that I found this show because I'm like, oh, good, I get to watch her. And then I spent the day listening to some of your podcasts, and I was like, oh, great, I can find her there too. And it's great to have you back. But do you enjoy being on TV? I know, like we were talking about, it adds a little bit. Of glitz and glam that you might not need to do the job, but do you like doing this?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm still waiting to be on scripted television. You keep
Yeah.
talking about reality TV.
Yeah. Well, by the way, because I read it there because you grew up on television, not reality television, scripted television.
I still last night. Wait, it was last night? Tuesday night. We have Will Trent. We have High
Oh yeah,
Potential,
ABC.
and then we have The Rookie. Don't talk to me. Do not talk to me between 8 and 11. Do not talk to me. Don't.
So you're there
I
watching
just don't
network
even.
television. I
Don't
love it.
even open the door and come in. Nope. Yes. So no, I grew up. Are you kidding? The Brady Bunch, pork chops and applesauce. I can quote everything. And I was an only child. So TV was my best friend.
See, and that's why I like you on our screens because you can tell reality stars sometimes have just watched too many reality shows and they're just imitating. You are actually who you are, and I think you can tell the people that are genuine to themselves and the people that are just putting a character on for the camera. So when I was watching the reunion, I was like, oh, this is just her. Like she will say what she wants to say, does not care how it's received, doesn't care how we receive it. And overall, then you get our respect. And I think that's what you get from Madhouse. So I'm like, oh, good. I'm actually going to add this to my viewing schedule for season 2 because I want to see, which by the way, can you tease anything that happens in season 2? What can we
Well,
expect?
there's some incredible choreographers that come on as guests, and they really put the kids through their paces. We have some stepping, which you don't ever see. It's a genre that was very new to me. We have breakdancing, old school breakdancing. We have, I'm allowed to say, I guess, Mr. Richie Jackson in the house. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of different genres, but yet it's very now, it's very current, it's very new. So everybody at home, teenagers, tweens, every age will love the dancing. They'll love it. The stage is slick. It's cool. It's beautiful. The theater, the sound stage here that we work in. And I'll be honest, Brandon TV and all the people working here have made it very easy this season. Some things are difficult with the wheelchair and,
Yeah.
there's cords everywhere and wires everywhere. But I think this year they've ironed things out and it was a wonderful job to do. It was great. It was
Uh,
show
yeah.
up and do my thing.
Well, but by the way, I mean, this is why I think you are also such a fighter. You mentioned the wheelchair. Obviously, you have dealt with lymphoma in the past. And I mean, you really do just seem like this, you have this insane fighting spirit. And like nothing seems to be able to stop you, you know? And I was just wondering where you got that from.
My dad was one of 6 kids, grew up during the Depression, fought in World War II, Pearl Harbor. Uh, he had to fight for the last pork chop, growing up. So that's where I get the fight from. My mother was
Yeah.
everything peaceful and calm, and everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to love to dance. You're all going to come back next year. It's going to be a good business. And I'm in there, screaming at everybody.
Oh my God. I mean, incredible. Dance Moms, obviously that is a part of your lore or your history. And, you've obviously launched JoJo or like helped to launch JoJo. And, she is such obviously this character in pop culture now. And you got to see her as this young person that, did you see obviously you saw her potential, but could you ever think like, oh my God, I can't believe she is out there doing what she's like to watch her go from the kid that you knew to the young
No, I knew
adult.
I knew she was going to be a star. The the star potential was there, no question. But I was looking for the Rockettes. I was looking for everybody to be the same size, the same height, and to all kick the same leg and all do the same side aerial. That was not JoJo. She did not want to fit in. She wanted to stand out. And that doesn't make a good group to go to competition.
Yeah.
That's the issue. As far as being a star, never doubted it. Never doubted it.
But it's about being able to also then work within a team, right?
Well, yeah, that's where the trouble came in. Yes.
I mean, but how do you do that in this, this kind of land of dreams of these people trying to like dance and make something of their careers? It sometimes feels like this singular activity when you are trying to teach them, you've got to come together as an actual team. How is that hard to like, that must be impossible to break somebody of that notion.
Well, it is. It's hard because you want to stand out, stand out, stand out. You want to go to a dance convention with 400 kids on the floor and wear the brightest leotard and the biggest bow and stand out. But then once you get the job or you get selected, now you have to fit in. Now you have to tone it down or make it work with everybody else. And that's a very fine line. And kids need to learn that and how to maneuver that. And it's not always easy.
Well, that's what you're there for. That's why we have you. What has been the proudest moment of your career thus far?
Probably, it sounds crazy, probably sneaking in to the theater the day Footloose loaded in. My student didn't know I was there. The choreographer, who was a friend, I'm gonna throw that out there, he was, we knew each other. He let me in. I was in the dark theater, and I was there the moment my student stepped on the Broadway stage for the very first time, my first kid. And then 3 months later, they called another one of my students in as a principal swing. And she's 18 years old, going to NYU on the Martin Luther King Scholarship. And as a communications major, doing 8 shows a week, sitting in the dressing room, making more money than she ever dreamed. Yes.
Well, I hope you called her and said I get 10%. I get 10% of everything at this point.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a little story real quick. So when Dance Mom started, I did have a contract at my studio where I did get 10% of every kid that walked in the door. I mean, it was just to teach them about the business and how it works. What was I going to get them? A job modeling costumes at a local costume company 2 hours away from Pittsburgh, and they were going to get $100 for the day, and I was going to get $10. It wasn't about that. It was about the respect. It was about, this is how it works. This is how the business works. And one of the line producers from the production company that started Dance Moms stood at my desk and ripped up those papers for all the kids that were on the show that were cast.
Oh, wow.
And said, you're going to make so much money, you're never going to need this. Because 2 of the mothers put them up to it. And you know what? When I'm looking for a caregiver in this wheelchair and trying to get into the shower and things like that, I could have used that 10%.
Yeah.
And they were at my studio, and some of them owed money on their bill before they even interviewed for Dance Moms. And I let them walk in the door. Oh, if we could go back in time.
Yeah. By the way, hey, yeah, we're talking to you, Melissa. Yeah, come on. No,
No, lots of them.
no. I'm
Lots of
joking.
them.
No, lots of them. But
Melissa just has the money from Australia.
By the way, that's what I'm saying. This is only 30 minutes, but you have such a rich history. So I'm trying to because there's so many things that you've done with your life. So I'm like, oh my God. But I do want to say there were so many iconic moments, of course, in Dance Moms. And I was just thinking of season 2, there was this, I'm trying to find my note. There was this showdown between 2 of the girls. And do we have similar showdowns in Madhouse of people coming up against each other?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I think
Absolutely.
that's.
And they don't take it as personal because they're young adults here, but then once they go back to the house, it all explodes.
Okay. That's the brilliance of the show, is that they also make them live together, so they can't go and decompress, so things pop off so much.
Yes.
Okay, so you would obviously do a season 3 if they wanted to do a season 3 of this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And obviously, if any of the producers of Will Trent or any of the ABC lineup are listening, would you play
tell
yourself?
Debbie Allen I see Debbie Allen a lot. I teach at Debbie Allen Dance Academy, and I see her all the time. I'm like, Debbie, cadaver. I can lay there. I can be a cadaver. What about the wheelchair? I'll just zip through. She's like, Abby, if you zip through on that wheelchair, everyone in the whole world would know it was you.
That's what I was like. Could you imagine watching TV and you're like, I think I saw Abby Lee Miller's corpse on a TV show? But by the way, what would you ever be open to playing yourself on a TV show? A fictional, but you have to play yourself, but it's on Will Trent. Okay.
Of course. Yes.
I feel like this is a no-brainer. We should have
you. I want to judge all those cooking shows.
Yes, you could do that. Wait, listen, we're coming up with 30 jobs for you right now. Which, by the way, you have a book.
These kids' cooking shows. They come out and see Valerie Bertinelli. They don't know who the hell she is. I do. They don't.
Oh my! Imagine her doing a kids' cooking show. That would be
me.
So good. Yes, you.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
I know.
Oh, wow. I just also can't believe that you get to see Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen, another legend. Another legend. Do you have another book in you?
I think I have a tell-all.
I think you do too. Like I was like
Yeah.
doing research and there was just so many different little pockets of your life. And every time I was like, God, you could just go.
But you know
And
what? I already wrote a book
I
and
know.
I did a lot of book signings. And the line was around the building, like Barnes and Noble, around the building, right? And the whole time I'm signing these books, taking picture, taking picture, taking picture, and I think I'm making 25 cents a book. I could make $25 on a t-shirt. This is so dumb, you know? So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just like the stories that you tell, so I would want another book. But before I just have a couple more minutes, I think I did want to get your thoughts really quickly because we did have the reboot of Dance Moms on Hulu. What was your overall thoughts? Because you weren't unfortunately in that, like this is a show that you were on for 8 years, and we didn't have you on the Moms reboot. Are you allowed to say how you felt about that?
I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Yeah, I didn't think much of it. It was a
Because you knew
friend.
the lady that was the head of it.
Yeah, I tried to get her on our show, and
Yeah.
the the executive producer said she's like paste drying. She's horrible. But then all of a sudden, all these years later, I don't know. I think it was a dumb move, really, really dumb move, a waste of money, and I didn't think the dancing was all that incredible. But this leads me to season 9, Abby Lee Dance with Me, that you can watch on my YouTube channel. Kids all over the world can see it. And the dancing is absolutely incredible. It's 2024, 2025. It's now no moms. The moms are very minimal. It's
Now,
about the dancing. It's about the kids. It's me. It's Richie Jackson. It is so good. It's
are
so
you
good.
still able to be completely blown away by somebody's dancing ability?
I was. There's a lot of kids that blew me away.
Yeah.
We have kids from
Uh,
Australia. I shot an episode in London. It's crazy. Yeah.
Which you guys, I'll put all of that information in the show notes as well, the YouTube channel, all of that. But also, then I just wanted also not to, make you come off as sensitive, but also I remember you. I think you had cried during Maddie's solo a long time ago on Dance Moms, and I was like, "Are you comfortable because you have this tough persona sometimes? But are you comfortable with sharing that more sensitive side of yourself, or would you rather just be the, like you got to do this now?"
I think I share whatever I'm feeling. Yes, I'm completely open and willing to do any of that. And when a kid moves me to tears and a kid touches something deep within you and sparks a memory, or the story that they're telling is so stunning, absolutely, I've been brought to tears. Not too
Yeah.
many times, but yeah.
Not too many times. And also, I just wanted to mention because we brought up the lymphoma earlier, but you, Dancers with Cancer, I thought there's this amazing organization that I wanted to mention as well while we had time because
Yes,
I'm a big
it's Dancers Against Cancer.
dancer. Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. They give out checks for $10,000 here, there, and everywhere. They came into my hospital room, and my friend Michelle Rogers and JoJo presented me with the check. And I mean, it could not have come at a better time. What the world does not know, because it really wasn't done the right way, but anyway, I have given back the $10,000, and there's going to be a little bit of a ceremony about it next week when I present the big check.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So yes, so I think I needed it. It helped me. I'm okay now. I'm giving it back so they can give it to somebody else. It's a wonderful thing. Kids Artistic Review CAR is kind of behind the organization, and they're doing everything that they can. And then I'm also involved in another organization, Star Dance Alliance and Dance One, and they just gave $97,000 to Steven Tyler for Janie's Fund.
I know Steven a little bit, and he just had a big Grammys party, and that he
I
has
was
this
there.
organization. Amazing! Wow, we need an Aerosmith collaboration with you and Steven Tyler, obviously. Um,
Yes.
I think that is my time, but I just want to say about the Madhouse cast. Could you, in your wildest dreams, ever imagine these young adults being able to be on Broadway one day? Is there anybody in this group? Are you allowed to tease who are potentially the ones that we should be watching out for in season 2?
Yes. Haley Holzman, Broadway. Savoy, television. The rest of them are kind of going to stick to the cruise ships.
Well, I do not know a better way to end this talk. I wish I could talk to you for so much longer. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk down the line. But you guys, I'm telling you, Brandon TV, Madhouse season 2, you can catch up on season 1, but she's also everywhere. Podcast, go rate it 5 stars. YouTube, go subscribe. Go follow her on Instagram. She might not write a book, but hopefully we can get a t-shirt that she'll sign
There
one
you
day.
go. Yes.
The legend, Abby Lee Miller. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was the best interview ever.
Oh, stop. I'm going to put
No,
that. I'm going to put that on my
seriously,
LinkedIn.
You're on top of the pyramid.
Oh God, I love you.
Yeah, I just